Hello everyone, my name's Gavin and welcome back to MyXP. Today I want to talk to you about a collection of games that came out when I was younger, and I ended up actually playing every single one of these games a little bit prior to their re-release, which just came out on the Nintendo Switch, and that collection is known as Collection of Mana. So with the original Final Fantasy Adventure, also known as Seiken Densetsu, that one came out on the Game Boy, and the thing about me and Game Boy is that I only really had one growing up for maybe about a couple of weeks to a month. And the reason for that is because my parents didn't really know the difference, and they used to mix and match batteries, and lo and behold, the batteries ended up blowing up in my console, and my Game Boy was completely unusable. So, after that happened, I did end up seeing Final Fantasy Adventure on one of my friend's Game Boy Colors a few years later, and I did get to play a little tiny bit of it and see a few areas. But my real experience with Final Fantasy Adventure was when the game was re-released on the App Store and Android. So I ended up downloading the Android version, which is a complete 3D remaster, and it was a very beautiful game. They absolutely took everything graphically with it and just increased it tenfold. And I love that game. I played all the way through it. I tried to get every single treasure I could come across, and it was just an amazing game. So what I ended up doing with Final Fantasy Adventure this time around was I ended up playing through a little bit of it just to see how it worked and just to see how it held up. And if you don't find graphics from that era jarring or anything, there's still a really fantastic game to be experienced here. So I would highly recommend playing the original Final Fantasy Adventure if you haven't. Now, moving on to the second game in the collection, it needs no introduction at all. A Secret of Mana, legendary game, and this game I have had played through a million times with countless friends. So I remember specifically going to a video game rental store nearby here and going there and always seeing this game completely rented out. There were a couple of copies that were in the store and they were never available, so you always had to reserve them in advance. And every single time I'd reserve the game, we'd end up renting it out for the weekend. We'd go home, we'd hook up the multi-tap, we'd play 3 players, so it'd be myself, my friend Wayne, or my friend Jamie, and my friend Tristan. We'd end up just playing the game all weekend, and then as soon as Monday'd roll around, we'd bring the game back, and sure enough, it was gone again. Next weekend would roll around, we'd get the game back, and then our file was gone, so we'd have to start all over again. So every single weekend, it was just a constant battle for us to try to be able to complete the game by the time that we had to bring it back to the store. I remember pulling countless overnights with this and just trying to maximize our characters, get all the rare drops from the enemies. We were also just trying to really experience the story as friends, just to make memories with this game. And needless to say, I mean, it still holds up. This game is absolutely fantastic and needs to be played. Everybody has to get this game. Now, I know there were a lot of people that didn't really like the remastered version of this game when that wasn't released on other consoles. But for me personally, I absolutely loved it. Even the remastered version, I know it did have a few issues, but the original game still holds up, and that's the version that's in this Collection of Mana on the Nintendo Switch. So you have nothing to fear. This is the same game that you know and love from your childhood, and it's the same that I love as well. So definitely pick that up. The next game in this collection would be Trials of Mana. Now, Trials of Mana wasn't initially released here in North America, but I did end up getting to see the game because one of my friends was really into ROMs and emulation, and he ended up getting his hands on a fan translation years ago. Now, I ended up just seeing little snippets of that game, so I never really got to experience it myself until now. That being said, after playing the first couple hours of Trials of Mana, I am just completely taken back. This game is fantastic. It's almost like I gotta try to pry myself away from playing it because it's just so fun. They took the same formula from the original Secret of Mana and just increased upon it and made so much of the systems a lot more easier to use, and there's no more stamina, so there's no fatigue gauge is what I'm trying to say. So as soon as you attack or whatever, you don't have to wait before you can attack again. It's a lot more action-based, it's way more fast-paced, and I do like that they added in almost like a special ability like limit break type gauge. That was really cool. Also being able to change into different classes with your characters. There's just so many different systems in this game that's really in depth, and it's just fantastic. A must play for sure. Trials of Mana also is going to be getting a remastered version, and it's going to be completely upscaled in the 3D and everything. The game looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this. But with that said, you still get that original Super Nintendo Trials of Mana version in this collection of Mana, and honestly, I don't even know if I can wait for the remaster. I just gotta go and play this game all the way through right now, and I would recommend that anybody do this because that Trials of Mana game, again, like I said, is super addicting, and it's a fantastic story. It has amazing music, the combat is awesome, and I can't gush about it already, so I can't wait to see what else is to come next, but I'm totally playing this game all the way through now. Now, for me with the collection of Mana, I was very fortunate. I ended up like winning a giveaway that they had on Twitter. So I got 2 copies of the game. I had 1 copy for myself and 1 copy for my fiance. And it was really nice to see her actually experience these games from my childhood and actually make her own memories with me with this. And it's just fantastic to experience with a friend. So that's another thing that you can look at with this as well. It's really fun to play with friends, great multiplayer experience, fantastic RPGs with fantastic systems, and amazing music. Don't wait, go ahead and pick up the collection of Mana. Awesome, awesome games. So that's my experience with the franchise. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment in the comments below if you think there's anything I might have overlooked, or just tell me about your own experiences with the collection of Mana. So with that said, thank you guys very much for viewing, and I will see you next time. Take care.